welcome back to Fist Entertainment for my next review, and that is of 1989's Ghostbusters 2. This is part of this trilogy collection right here. Well, Ghostbusters 2. Let's go through a quick plot synopsis. It's a fine time for slime time. When Peter Venkman, played by Bill Murray, as well as the rest of the Ghostbusters team, regroup to nuke the spooks in this high-spirited comedy. After a spectacular save of New York City 5 years later, the heroes of the hereafter once again answer the call when an underground river of ghoulish goo threatens to rot the Big Apple to the core. That's pretty much a good way to put the plot synopsis. Now, to me, a better way to talk about the plot of Ghostbusters 2 is this. Our heroes had to battle it with a evil god entity that lives within a demonic painting that comes to life through psychological goo that literally preys upon negative energy. And they have to save pretty much New York City and possibly the world by countering it with positivity. That's how I would describe it. It's a little bit more to the point of why I like this one the best. So let's go on to why I actually like Ghostbusters 2 better than all the other films. Ghostbusters 2 to me is a very, very interesting film that has to do with something that is universal. Not giving up. Not giving in to despair and disappointment. Because ultimately that's what our villain's doing. That's what the evil forces are doing in this movie. People giving up on each other. People giving up on their brothers and their sisters, their neighbors, society. Giving up on it is what fuels this supernatural ooze that is basically is manifesting itself and making itself bigger and more evil and having some demonic entity named Vigo, who was the main villain in the movie. He was this evil godlike entity that is dedicated on ruling the entire world, that lives in this very disturbing painting. He's kind of like the catalyst of it. He's taking all this negative energy so he can rise up and basically enslave humanity. And I find it very, very cool that even our heroes in the film start asking themselves, what are we all doing this for? Society doesn't like us. And that kind of goes on how the film starts a little way. Is after being heroes, society literally has written them all off. All of them. And the Ghostbusters are now outcasted, basically. And the town itself is kind of, outcasting itself. People are not having positivity at all. And there's even points in the film to where our heroes are all like, what's the point? They don't care. Maybe we should give up on this town. Maybe you should give up on New York and all that. And then we have Dan Aykroyd's characters like, no, we shouldn't. It has this very heartfelt way of describing it. And that, in a lot of ways, is what I like about Ghostbusters 2. But the other thing I like about Ghostbusters 2 over all the other three films is this one's actually kind of spooky and scary. I mean, I remember as a child when I would see our villain in the film, Vigo. Not so, even a little bit when he was actually just talking from inside of the portrait, inside of the painting. That scared me, but man, when I saw him outside of the painting and then he started to go back into the painting and had that very scary look, it terrified me as a child. Which is why it was the one Ghostbusters film I watched the most, but it's also the one that I was watching for a reason. I was trying to confront my fear. Because as a little child, it was just another reason why I say that these films are not meant for children at all. It's because I've been there and done that. I once was a child. And I was a child of the 1980s. And a little bit of the 1990s, not really all of it. And, yeah, I remember the second Ghostbusters film scaring me. The first one really didn't, but the second one actually did. And so that's why I cannot stress enough, people that may disagree with me on this channel, but these Ghostbusters films are not meant for children. Not at all. And the performances, the overall look of the film is so much better than the first film. I think that Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and Howard, I forget his name, Howard something. Where is it? Howard Remus, as well as Ernie Hudson. I think all of the key actors, and Sigourney Weaver as well, just do a better job in this movie than they did in the first one. So what Ghostbusters 2 did to me, at least did for me, is it took what was so great about the first film and just made it bigger and better. And that's honestly what I think about it. And these particular two are the best of the series for a reason. They're timeless classics. It's kind of like Hellraiser and Hellbound Hellraiser 2. Those two films will always live on. They are forever classic films. Not so much with all the other Hellraiser movies. And this same thing kind of goes with, at least in some people's opinion, not my opinion. And we'll get to that. The two new Ghostbusters films, some people would say, are not. You might find I disagree with you. Now, keep in mind, watching all four of these films and reviewing all four of them is completely different. So my opinion might change when I actually am in front of camera in the next few minutes with the next film. Now let's talk about quality real quick. Interesting enough, I told you that Ghostbusters on Blu-ray was very, very generic looking. The sound was pretty basic standard. Well, I definitely cannot say the same thing about Ghostbusters 2. Ghostbusters 2 actually was much closer to reference quality in terms of the Blu-ray performance. The picture was very, very, very good, to the point that it might as well be a 4K picture. So I guess now the 4K releases, when it comes to the original two landmark films, Ghostbusters 2 is probably the best looking one album, which makes no sense to me, considering the fact that Ghostbusters was made in 1984 and Ghostbusters 2 is made in 1989. In those two particular years, 84 and 89, the technology had not changed. It has not improved at all between that time. About the only thing that really did improve in some cases, depending on which studio you go to, is the audio technology we had at the time. Which is why I find that very interesting that Ghostbusters 2 actually looks better than Ghostbusters in terms of video quality on Blu-ray. Audio quality is about the same as the first one. So a very basic DTS HDMA 5.1 sound presentation. Maybe it has a little more bass to it than the first one, but that's probably about it. that's all I have to say about Ghostbusters 2 from 1989. Now, I know that a lot of people will argue with saying that, no, this is not a 1989 film. Foos, this is a 1990 movie. No, it was released possibly in 1990. But if you watch the end credits of the film, at the very, very bottom, it says 1989. And, well, that means that's the real release date of the film. So it's a 1989 film. This is another major, major, major classic film, so I'm going to give it the full 4 stars. Is me saying this an absolutely perfect movie. So Foos says, check it out, and I will see you on the next one.